There's a sound every doctor in the ER learns to fear. It isn't a scream. It isn't an alarm. It's silence. 10 o'clock at night. I've just spoken the 3 words no physician ever wants to say out loud. Time of death. What happened 4 minutes later shouldn't be possible, and every single one of us in that room heard it. In the medical literature, it has a clinical name: auto-resuscitation. The spontaneous return of a heartbeat after every effort to revive a patient has already stopped. Put simply, a heart that starts beating again on its own. No compressions, no shocks, no one even touching it. Minutes after a doctor has already signed the death certificate, it's documented in medical journals around the world. It's real, it's rare, and almost no one can fully explain it. This is the story of a 46-year-old woman who wasn't ready to go, and the 4 minutes that changed how I understand the line between life and death. It was one of those quiet nights. Too quiet. The kind that doesn't bring calm in the ER. It brings a bad feeling. The kind anyone with enough shifts behind them learns not to trust. That night she was home like any other, setting the table for dinner, an ordinary, invisible moment. And then her body, without warning, gave out. A hemodynamic collapse. In plain terms, her circulatory system stopped holding her alive all at once. The pressure that keeps blood and oxygen moving to the brain and the heart, it crashed. Her husband didn't wait for an ambulance. He carried her to the car and he drove. It was 9:20 at night when I watched her come through the emergency doors. And I didn't need the monitor to know. Her face was blue, cyanotic. The color skin turns when it's gone minutes without oxygen. The monitor only confirmed what my eyes were already screaming. A flat line, a systole. No pulse, no breathing, no signs of life. And one step behind her, her husband. Not understanding, not accepting. Searching my face for an answer I didn't have yet. I called a code blue. In seconds, the room filled. The entire emergency team. And from the outside, it looks like chaos. But it isn't. It's an orchestra. Every person knows their instrument. I took the airway, forcing oxygen into lungs that had given up. Beside me, chest compressions. 100 a minute, 2 inches deep every time. Doing by hand the work the heart had walked away from. One nurse kept the count. Another drew up the epinephrine, adrenaline, the drug we use to try to jumpstart a stopped heart. And then, the shock. Every eye in the room snapped to the monitor, praying for a rhythm. Nothing. The line stayed flat. We didn't hesitate. We kept going. Fluids, more drugs. We secured her airway to a ventilator. Shock after shock after shock.
Start compressions now.
10 minutes. 20. 30. And after every jolt of electricity, the same answer. A flat, straight, indifferent line. 40 minutes. 40 minutes fighting for one life. And the heart never came back. There's a point, and everyone who has stood in that room knows it, where medicine has given everything it has, exhausted, and more than tired, frustrated. Because she wasn't just a patient. She was a mother, a wife, the woman who, an hour earlier, was setting the table for dinner. At 10 o'clock, I gave the order to stop, and I signed her death certificate. I turned around. I had to do the hardest part of this job. Walk out that door and tell a husband his wife was gone. I was about to speak, and then I heard it. We all heard it. 10:04. 4 minutes after I declared her dead. 4 minutes after we stopped everything. Her heart had started beating again. No compressions, no shocks, nothing. On its own. No one spoke, because we had just watched something years of training never prepared us for. So what actually happened in that room? Science calls it auto-resuscitation. and it has a few theories, none of them complete. The leading one is called auto-PEEP. During CPR, we ventilate the lungs over and over, fast. Sometimes air goes in faster than it can come back out. The lungs overinflate, trapping pressure inside the chest. That trapped pressure squeezes the heart and keeps it from filling with blood. But when we stop ventilating, the pressure slowly releases, and the heart, suddenly free, can fill again and beat. The second theory, delayed drugs. In an arrest, circulation is so poor that the adrenaline we injected may never have reached its target, until we stopped. Until, somehow, that drug finally found the heart and worked. Minutes too late. There's more. Shifts in the blood's potassium. Ischemia times, the minutes a tissue spends starved of oxygen that the body somehow reverses. An asystole that, for one instant, was only temporary. All of those explanations are real. They're in the textbooks. And still, anyone who is in that room will tell you the same thing. The theories explain the mechanism. They don't explain the moment. They don't explain why it was her. Why those exact 4 minutes. Why her heart chose to restart the instant my hand was on the door to announce her death. Medicine can measure pressure, chemistry, time. But there's a border, that thin line between being alive and not, where our instruments fall silent, and all that's left is awe. I've spent years in the ER. I've watched human biology fail in 1,000 ways. But that night, I learned it can also stun us in ways the best training in the world can't contain. The human body is still, at its core, a mystery, fragile, and capable of things that shouldn't be possible. We declared her dead, and 4 minutes later, she decided to stay. Was it physics, chemistry? Or is there something on that threshold between life and death that we still can't name? If stories like this make you see that line a little differently, subscribe. This is where we document the cases medicine can't quite explain. And tell me in the comments, do you think this has a purely scientific explanation? Or do you believe there's something more waiting on the other side of the monitor?